because nothing's just going our way. Got horses on my right, cows on my left, and the feeder doesn't even ring. I don't know what to do. It's the end of the season, and I'm out of luck. And you know what? I have 4 more hunts left, and plenty of corn. So I'm gonna go get one of them jokers in the morning. You'll see. Was the sickest footage, dude. Well, it ain't an easy task when you're getting destroyed by mosquitoes.
Daniel's journey as a bow hunter starts early in the season and takes him through the many changing conditions that a deer hunter comes to expect. Scattered fields and food plots sustain an abundance of wildlife on this small family farm, and most of the season has been spent patiently waiting for a mature buck in these areas. Eventually, every patient hunter must realize time is no longer on their side. It's late season now, and Dan has shifted his setup to a rifle stand that has remained unpressured throughout the season. The rut has ended and food is scarce, and the idea is to strategically corn intersecting roads to create an unresistible food source for mature bucks after the rut. Just after light, Dan spots a buck entering the road that has never been seen before. The tactic works perfectly, and because little corn was spread at long distance, the buck feels the urge to feed closer into bow range. At 40 yards, it quickly becomes a game of nerves and patience to determine just how close this buck will comfortably feed. The temperature is mild, but Dan starts to feel buck fever and must begin to calm himself under the excitement and pressure of such an encounter. The does in front of the buck begin to grow wary, and at 30 yards, any movement can be detected. The does have left the road, and with the buck at 30 yards, Dan knows he must take his next opportunity. Dan waits for the perfect shot. With the nerves few have, Dan resists jerking the trigger. Unfortunately, the buck becomes uncomfortable and turns quickly and walks out of range. The stand placement proves critical, and the buck emerges onto another road behind the blind. Dan must reposition, but without spooking the already wary buck. Another standoff begins as the buck feeds within 25 yards, without giving Dan a shot.
Yes. I smoked him.
Dan makes a perfect shot, and sign of an ethical kill is seen on
I
impact.
just shot a big 10-pointer. I hit it right in the heart. We've hunted so hard all season, and it's the last day of buck season down here in South Texas, and I just shot a beautiful 10-pointer. I made a perfect heart shot. That was the most dramatic morning hunt I've had in my entire life of bow hunting. And we've hunted 15 years trying to shoot a popping young buck like that. And it only comes once in a while, but that was the most awesome hunt I've ever had in my life. Oh man, praise God. Oh man, thank you, Jesus. You know, I tried my best, and oh man, when that deer gave, it was perfect. I couldn't have just released it any better. Matthew's solo cam, baby. Best archery gear out there. Matthews have never let me down. Well, I know I made a really good shot on this buck, and the arrow broke off right on impact. So we're gonna just go grab the arrow, take a look at it, and then come back in about another 30 minutes or so, but let's go check it out. Here's the proof right here, just solid red blood. Arrow got through, but it still broke it when the deer moved its shoulder back, so that deer can't be any further than 50 yards in that brush. I absolutely made a perfect shot, X'd him right in the heart. So we built that thing like about 5 years ago now, and this is the first mature deer we've killed out of it with a bow, and I'm pretty excited about it. You know, it's most of our setups are in ground blinds and trying to get them in real close, you know, so you can make that perfect shot. But sometimes you have to stretch it out, you know, to 30 plus yards. And you know, I know there's a lot of shooters out there that like to shoot 50 yards, but me, I feel comfortable around, you know, 30 and closer. But if I have to stretch it out, I will. And that deer was about 30 to 35 yards, and I made a perfect heart shot, and I was really happy. Yes. We corned these roads, especially after the rut. that's what they're looking for, is food. You know, they're run down. I'm sure if I had found that deer in the early season, he would have looked like a tank. But you can see in his face and in his hips that he's an old deer. And it worked out this morning. Last day of buck season down here in South Texas, corned these senderos, and sure enough, we had a mature 10-pointer come into bow range. Ready? We're gonna walk up the trail and find this deer. It shouldn't be more than 50 yards. Blood right where I shot it, heavy tracks. You see it? Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Blood everywhere right here, and then boom, dead buck right there. Oh man, it only ran about 50 yards. There we go. Road's right there. Dead buck. It only went 50 yards. Let's go get it. Oh man! Whoa! Oh my gosh! This is the biggest deer I've ever killed in my life. Look at the size of this buck.
That's a good one, man.
Oh man! I can't believe it. It actually happened last day, Sunday morning on the 15th of January. Last day of South Texas buck season. Golly. This is the most exciting day of my life. We did some strategic corning to try to draw these deer right in bow range, and it worked. Yeah, I made a perfect hard shot. It couldn't have worked out any better, and at the angle I was at, I smoked him.